For our topic today, we wanted to discuss pricing for case management platforms. We can start, Emery, by giving just some quick background on at least what we've seen in terms of how most case management systems currently price their offerings.
So there's been a pretty big shift over the last decade or so on pricing with a move to cloud software and software as a service. It used to be you would buy the software upfront and then maybe you would pay an ongoing support fee, but the primary expense was an upfront purchase. And then down the road, if you wanted upgrades, you had to make other one-time purchases. Obviously, that's changed, and most case management systems are doing a per user fee at this point. And of course, that typically comes with other features. As you go up in the higher pricing tiers, you get additional features and more users, typically, if it's a kind of a bundled offering. But for the most part, it's per user, and you can pay monthly or annually in most cases. We have seen some unique pricing options out there. I've seen per matter, which is interesting. There's some
Mm.
plaintiff focused systems out there that match the contingency fee model almost and allow you to pay based on the number of matters and I think even the results of those matters.
Mm.
I don't know all the details about that one, but that's a pretty unique one. Then the other unique one, there's a system out there called Locus, a really awesome case management for small and mid-sized firms. I don't think they're still doing it, but for a limited time, they did a lifetime offer. So you basically could buy Locus for life. And I thought that was a really interesting model.
We see lawyers and law firms tend to fixate on the cost when that may not be the best strategy.
The problem with cost, it's very easy to quantify. So it's really easy to over index on cost.
Mm.
But when you look at the market out there, you're looking at a span of somewhere in the range of $30 per user per month on the small end and maybe up to $150 per user per month on the high end. So your delta there is $120 max. And the value you get out of picking the right software versus picking the wrong software as a lawyer or an administrator at a law firm, there's almost no way that the delta is going to be smaller. The costs difference between bad software or not even bad software, but just the wrong software and the right software. So it can be dangerous to over index on the cost of software.
All right, let's talk about that $100 delta because I think that's actually a really useful sort of, and that's a big enough number, at least for some firms, to be like, hey, that's $1,000 a year. Help me understand why I should pay 150 a month if I
Mhm.
could pay 30.
I'll just take one example. Let's say you are looking at buying Lawmatics. It's a CRM specifically designed for law firms. And Lawmatics has a really great no-code automation tools. You can basically trigger things to happen automatically when a certain event happens. So when a client books this appointment, send them the engagement letter. So if you think of how many times someone books an appointment and your alternative is to manually send that engagement letter,
Because
then
Lawmatics is more expensive than you want to pay, and the $30
yeah,
option doesn't have that automatic trigger. Okay.
yeah, let's say it takes you 15 minutes to do that. I don't want to go too deep into hourly rates, but you can see how quickly
Yeah.
doing that even once gets you to that delta. That's an example of just one specific thing that can add a ton of productivity and it just blows that difference in cost out of the water. If I had to pick maybe one thing, it would be, am I growing or
Right.
do I have goals to grow versus am I happy where I am and I've got clients that send me consistent business. I don't need new clients to keep moving along. Then maybe I could see a world where it doesn't make sense to optimize every little cost. But if I'm growing, all of that stuff, all those features, the value of those get amplified for the most part. And cost becomes much less important for a growing firm versus one that isn't.